Dear students, in the previous classes, we have been discussing about man, society and his behavior. Why do man behaves differently at different circumstances? What makes him behave in such a manner? It is due to the combination of the environmental factors and his hereditary qualities. That is why he behaves differently at different times. That is what we are going to learn today, the influence of heredity and environment. In this class, I am going to give you a short introduction to heredity and environment, and then I will explain to you what we mean by personality, and then I will define environment and different types of environment. People living in different cultural background learn the traditional practices of their society through socialization. Indians in the southern part of India learn to wear saris, eat South Indian food like idli and celebrate religious festivals like Pongal. It becomes a part of their life. North Indians wear salwar, eat chapatis, celebrate Holi, which are their cultural identity. Society and its culture have influenced these people. This kind of influence is found in all forms of societies, but still we also observe differences in the attitudes, tastes and behavior of people. Each individual is found to be unique in his personality that differentiates him from other person in the same society. They are exposed to the same culture, but still are different in their personality. It is because each individual is a combination of physical, psychological and social traits. Man's personality is the product of the interplay between heredity, that is a combination of his biological traits and social qualities. What do we mean by personality? Personality refers to a person's pattern of habits, attitudes and traits which determine his adjustment to his environment. This is an explanation by Alport. There are many factors like biological inheritance, physical environment, social background like culture, group experiences and personal experiences that contribute enormously for the formation and development of personality. These are often reduced to two factors, namely heredity and environment. It is otherwise referred to as nature and nurture. Personality is defined as a fairly stable configuration of feelings, attitudes, ideas and behaviors that characterize an individual. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, has explained different stages of personality development from childhood to adulthood. The first stage, the oral stage, makes the child aware of the external world and a few significant members who live in his family. The infant communicates its hunger, an instinct, to its mother and anticipates a response from her. In the second stage, namely the anal stage, the child is given toilet training and learns to regulate his behavior and responds to social expectations pertaining to toileting. Freud says that toilet training has a great bearing in the development of the child's personality. The third stage is phallic stage. It is characterized by Oedipus complex and Electra complex, during which the child gets attracted towards the parent of the opposite sex and later realizes the actual identification of his own sex and that of his parents. In the adulthood, there is complex interaction in the social world and the person continues to get socialized and re-socialized. Freud also analyzes the three distinct parts of personality: the id, the ego and the superego. The id is the bundle of biological drives. The superego refers to the internalized standards of the society. The ego is the mediator between the id and the superego. The role of ego is to adjust our desires and impulses to the reality of the world and conform to the standards of society. This kind of adjustment process between human basic instincts and social expectations goes throughout one's life. Hence, heredity and environment in the development of human personality is an important subject to study. Next, we will see what we understand by environment. The term environment refers to anything that surrounds man and influences him in some way or the other. Every component in the environment influences the human living and human behavior also influences the environment in turn. According to Kimball-Young, environment includes those forces, situations and stimuli which influence the organism from outside. McIver says that environment interpenetrates life everywhere. It directs or diverts, stimulates or depresses man's energies. It molds his speech, it subtly changes his frame. It is entirely inseparable from life. There are different types of environment too. The term environment is used under different contexts in sociology. In order to distinguish between the circumstances in the social life, the term has been applied to indicate environment in the following way. McIver and Page distinguish between outer and inner environment. According to Marshall Jones, it is physical environment, social environment and cultural environment. According to Gisbert, there are 4 types of environment: natural environment, artificial environment, social environment and psychological environment. Kimball-Young distinguishes between geographic environment and socio-cultural environment. All these classifications could be broadly identified under two headings, namely geographical environment and man-made environment. First, I will explain to you the geographic environment. Geographic environment refers to the physical world around us. We live in a natural setting with land, vegetation, seasons, natural calamities, mountains, animals, heat and cold. Man does not have any control over them. Nature operates with its own law and everything goes on smooth. Man is likely to get the benefits of nature by rational usage, but in the present consumer culture, man is tampering nature. The exploitation of natural resources deplete the environment. This also has resulted in natural calamities that play havoc in human life. The next one is man-made environment. Apart from the natural environment, man has created a social, cultural and physical environment on his own with ideologies, practices and objects to live comfortably. Man-made environment could be subdivided into two types. These are outer environment and inner environment. The first one is outer environment. The outer environment consists of all tangible and physical objects that man has created to meet his comforts. New innovations due to development of science and technology in the forms of buildings, bridges, transportation facilities and communication media and machineries are man-made environment. It encompasses all the material culture of man. The outer environment includes the external achievements of man. The outer environment has an influence on human thoughts and living. The second one is inner environment. The inner environment consists of all social institutions and organizations. All aspects of traditional culture, folkways, mores, customs and philosophies consists of inner environment. This part is known as non-material culture or social heritage. The inner environment is very important for social life. Since inner environment is concerned with the emotional and cognitive aspects of human life, they are very sensitive and stable. Although differentiation is made between the inner and outer environments, they are closely interrelated. So far, I have been giving a very short introduction to environment. Now, I will explain to you what we mean by heredity. In earlier days, it was believed that human personality and physical structure of an individual are more or less fixed at birth itself, because people inherit these qualities from their parents through their genes. The inherited qualities cannot be changed. Heredity is a powerful factor that contributes for the formation of personality. Heredity refers to the biological process of transmission of certain biological and psychological qualities from parents to their children through what are known as genes. The merits of research on genes goes to the scientist Mendel, who has thrown light on human genes. The mechanism of heredity begins with the union of sperm with the egg cell in the mother's womb. The first cell, called the germini cell, divided repeatedly into millions of cells. Every human cell contains 23 pairs of chromosomes except the reproductive cell from the husband and wife, which have 23 unpaired chromosomes. The chromosomes contain thousands of ultramicroscopic structures called genes. These genes are the carriers of heredity. These genes only determine the physiological qualities of the new being called the fetus in the mother's womb. The qualities inherited by persons are due to the combination of a few genes in a particular fashion. Experiments reveal that certain qualities are dominant while certain other qualities are recessive in genes, and naturally the dominant quality will be inherited by the child. Physiological traits like curly hair, blue eyes, baldness and complexion are inherited in this way. Sometimes black parents might get white complexion child. This may be due to the reason that the white complexion gene was recessive in the previous generation and becomes dominant in this generation. Investigations reveal that even genes undergo changes over generations, which process is called mutation. Biological factors do play both a direct and indirect role in shaping the personality. Intelligence, aptitudes and temperament are determined by heredity. There may be a constitutional factor. The constitutional factor refers to any organic or physical characteristic that limits or facilitates the individual's ability to develop in a particular direction. For example, a person might have inherited a musical ability. If he does not have socio-economic environment to learn and develop musical skill, the inherited quality may remain subtle. Similarly, inherited athletic trait could be improved only with the opportunity to develop it. This fact cannot be denied, but on the other hand, we also observe inherited skills or potential skills find a sudden expression in some genius person, although they live in limiting social environment. Hence, both heredity and environment are the two important factors determining the personality of an individual. A new school of thought has emerged in sociology that studies the way in which biological factors influence human behavior and culture. This school of thought is known as sociobiology. The founder of this school is Edward Wilson. He says that many patterns of behavior like territoriality, selfishness and aggression are inner and are acquired through evolution. These qualities influence not only human behavior, but also cultural practices in turn. For example, the biological task of carrying the fetus in the womb and other biological differences between male and female has resulted in male domination, suppression of women, women abuse and many more discriminations. Dear students, in this lesson I have only briefed something about the environment and heredity. In the first part I explained to you what we mean by personality, then I explained to you the term environment and also different types of environment. Then I explained heredity. In the last part I briefed about the new subject called sociobiology. Now students, I want to pose some questions to you. The first question is, explain how heredity acts as a bridge between two generations. Question number 2, what is environment and its types? The third question, what is sociobiology? Okay students, in the next class I will continue the second part of heredity and environment. Bye.